This is the Overdue Homework Podcast.
Welcome to the show. That's Trav. I'm Drew.
And I'm Trav.
This is the Overdue Homework Podcast. And as always, we are here to talk about 80s and 90s media. And today it's TV media, and we're excited about that.
Yeah.
OverdueHomework.com, Overdue Homework Podcast at gmail.com. So please visit that and email us.
Almost made that episode 1 mistake.
Yes,
I made.
yes, almost. That was almost an episode one-er. Go back and listen to that episode. Have you listened to it recently at all?
I have not.
I have not. I don't know if I can, honestly.
Yeah, a little terrifying.
A little terrifying, but I've thought about it. Haven't done it yet. I think I'll go back and listen to it tomorrow. How are you doing today, Trav?
I'm doing pretty good. Got to take advantage of a day off today and play some games.
Nice. You said Slay the Spire recently?
Yep, Slay the Spire. Been pretty addicted to that lately. How have you been?
I've been really good. We had to buy a new water heater, which is unfortunate, but, you know, that's the way things go. We got a fancy schmancy tankless one.
Nice.
Exciting.
Nice. Yeah, one of the things we got with our house when we bought our house was the water heater was a year old.
Oh, nice.
And the furnace was brand new.
Nice.
Or vice versa, one of the two, so that's good.
Yeah, that's definitely good. Not to have to worry about that stuff in the near future. That's
right.
always great. That's always great. So in today's podcast, I use some articles from eonline.com, one by Dominique Hakil, one from mentalfloss.com, one by Stacy Conradt. It's Conradt.
Yeah.
Conrad.
One of them is silent or something. I don't know.
Sorry, Stacy. And once again, the ever famous staff from Hollywood.com.
Staff.
I didn't
Shout
really
out.
use anything from this. It just has a picture of the cast from like 2014 all together. So
nice.
go check it out if you want to see what they look like. They all look very similar to what they look like as children, kind of like we all do.
I'm sure.
So yeah, all those are going to be in the show notes, all those links to that stuff. So let's get on over to that homework review, Trav.
Let's do it.
Oh, you know what? There's this thing on the table, and I'm going to reveal it to you now.
Oh, okay.
I kind of like spaced it out because it had been sitting here for so long, but I'm going to reveal it to you now. I recently got this in the mail, and we'll take a picture of it and put it on Instagram probably. But
Probably.
Are you ready?
I'm
3,
ready.
2, 1.
Oh, nice. That is sick. Holy crap. You hunted one of these bad boys down.
Yeah, it was very funny. So it's an actual talk boy from Home Alone 2. So
dude, this is sick.
Tiger talk boy. I think it's a tiger, something like that at least. It literally came up. I went onto eBay just to look at eBay, and this was the first thing on there, and I was like, only $19.99, no bids. Let's put a bid on that thing. And
yeah.
I paid $25 for it.
Nice.
It's not that much. Like
Yeah.
I was like, heck yeah, $25.
Man, this will put you. I've never even held one of these, but I feel like it's putting me back in time.
I don't think I had ever held one either.
This
I mean,
is so cool. I feel like Macaulay Culkin. Oh, man.
and the thing comes out and everything, and it's supposed to work. The eBay said that it works, so it's supposed to record. It's supposed to do the slow and everything like that. So
Nice.
I haven't tested it yet because it needs some batteries, and it looks like it needs some contact cleaner in there, so needs to get cleaned up a little bit. But I figured I would share that with you, Trav, and I figured it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. We can use this to record on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure it would sound amazing.
Amazing.
Could slow it down and everything. It'd be great. It'd be great. So with that out of the way, now we can finally move on to the homework review. And of course, we are doing Salute Your Shorts Season 1, Episode 1, and it was released on June 1st, 1991, and it's called appropriately The First Day, because it's the first day at camp in this episode.
There we go.
This show was created by Steve Slavkin, and it's based on Salute Your Shorts, Life at Summer Camp by Steve and Thomas Hill, starring Kirk Bailey as Ugly, Megan Berwick as ZZ Ziff, Michael Ray Bauer as Eddie Donkey Lips C. Gelfin. I didn't know he had another name besides Donkey Lips. So
yeah.
do you think they ever call him Eddie in the show once?
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Not if he's introduced as Donkey Lips in episode 1.
Yep. Danny Cooksley as Robert Bobby Budnick. Venus DeMilo as Telly Radford. It's interesting that her name is Venus DeMilo. I mean, that's a world famous sculpture.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of funny. I don't know if you would think that's a good thing or a bad thing growing up. I don't know. Would you like to be like, what if your name was like Statue of David? You know what I mean? Like, that's a terrible example, but
oh man, I would have to really be pulling things in my way for life with that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Tim Esther as Sponge Harris, Heidi Lucas as Dina Alexander, Eric MacArthur as Michael Stein, and Steven Slavkin as Dr. Khan, if you were wondering who voiced Dr. Khan.
Dr. Khan.
So I'd like to just start this off with the fact that at one point all the campers had to be completely recast. Interesting,
that
right?
Is crazy.
Could have been a completely different cast of kids. So after the pilot was shot, the show got stuck in development, and kids grow a lot in a year. So Nickelodeon, when they decided to move forward with the series, most of them were looking too old. And so that's just the way it goes, I guess, if you're a child actor. So all of the Anawana campers had to be recast except for Donkey Lips.
For Donkey Lips.
He must have retained his youthful glow.
Yeah, I guess.
So there were 2 seasons of this show, and there's a total of 26 episodes, but only 10 of the 26 are on Paramount Plus. So if we can find a way to watch these other episodes, maybe we'll get to them. But we're probably going to, if we do this series again, we'll probably stick to one of those 10 episodes.
Right.
We get some really good feedback and high demand for more Salute Your Shorts.
That would be amazing.
It would be amazing. I would love that. How about we break this down, Trav?
Let's get it broken down. The first day. So it was a pretty good opening gag with the bus driving through the welcome sign. I thought that was funny. It was a good way to open up the series. Interesting. Camp Anawana is a play on words. It's a play on I don't want to. Anawana. Oh, nice.
I never knew that. Never put that together. I had no idea that that's what it was. I don't wanna. And unlike most Nick shows, Salute Your Shorts was filmed on location in Los Angeles at Franklin Canyon Park. Franklin Lake, where the lake in the show, was also the opening lake for Opie in the Andy Griffith Show.
Nice.
And it's also where the creature from the Black Lagoon emerged from in Hollywood.
Nice. Never seen that one. But
Nope, never seen that one either. And then it was also filmed at Griffith Park for a lot of the outdoor shots. Sets were used for the indoor stuff, so anytime you see them in their cabin, they're on a sound stage somewhere doing that stuff inside.
Sure.
So Michael gets off the bus, and we find out from Sponge that Camp Anawana literally bites, right?
Yeah, dude. Food bites, the bugs bite, activities bite, everything bites.
But it wasn't my choice.
Never is.
It never is. Did you ever go to camp?
I didn't. This show kind of makes me wish I did at some point. I feel like I did want to when I was younger, but I certainly didn't want to go to any sort of like Christian type camp or anything like that.
And it seems like that's what was available
Right.
in our youth. It was either a Christian camp or something involved with Boy Scouts.
Right.
And I
wasn't in either.
I wasn't in either.
Yeah. So.
Wasn't in either. Well, I was in Christian stuff, but I wasn't really interested in Christian camp as a youth.
For sure. Yeah. And also think of the movie Heavyweights, because isn't Donkey Lips in Heavyweights?
I think you're right.
With Ben Stiller.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't. Even though that movie makes camp not look so fun.
No.
Still, I always wanted to go to camp.
I never really went to camp either. I did do like hockey camps, which were like day camps playing hockey. So
sure.
That doesn't really
count.
Like,
go back home at night? Or?
Yeah, go back home at night and sleep in my own bed. Like
that
I wouldn't.
Doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count. But it was a camp.
It was a camp.
Hockey camps. What a waste of money. I wasn't a professional, so I mean, what a waste of money.
Yeah.
Come on, Dad. What were you thinking? But we get to see Donkey Lips and Budnick. They are the obvious bullies of camp.
Obviously.
Missed opportunity right off the bat, I think, with a gag that should have been done. It would have made sense for a kid's show. Budnick, he asks Michael if he has a nice trip and then proceeds to welcome Michael to Camp Anawana before pushing him over Donkey Lips. he should have waited to ask him how his trip was until right before he was pushing him over donkey lips. Right?
Agreed.
And then he could have said, see you next fall. I mean, that should have been in a kid's show.
It should have been.
Truly a missed opportunity for Camp Anawanians.
Damn it, Bobby.
Come on, Bobby. And then we get the famous, they run his underwear up the flagpole, and all you can do is stand at attention, click your heels, and salute your shorts. Hey, he said it in the first episode. He said it. Salute your shorts.
I like how he's just distraught after falling and not being hurt, but he takes forever to get back up, and then he just gives up. He's like, oh, what are they doing to my clothes? And he just watches the whole thing happen.
He does. He was not an active participant in that action at all.
Nope.
We do get that ultra iconic theme song. Just try not to sing it while you watch it. Just try. It's impossible. It's impossible. Oh, boy. It's I hope we never part. Now get it right or pay the price. We get to go to, one interesting fact about that theme song. It is the only theme song, supposedly, in television history to have the word fart in it.
No way.
That's apparently, I saw that a couple places on the internet. So, supposedly, the only television show in television history.
Legendary.
Legendary. It is kind of funny to hear it in a TV theme song. I mean, you don't expect something like that.
It is funny, and that's the main part I will always remember.
Exactly.
Makes me want to fart.
Exactly. We get to go right into bunk 13, the boys' bunk, and it's 200 miles from the nearest flush toilet. Sounds appetizing.
Yeah.
Appealing. And we get some cool character introductions. Donkey Lips can spit a loogie 8 feet in the air and catch it on his tongue. Thanks, Donkey Lips.
Nice.
Sponge is smart. His brain soaks things up like a sponge.
Yeah.
And then a little tour of the cabin, too. They got a cooler and a fan and nudie mags.
That's great. For 50 cents, you can look at them, and for $1, I'll let you flip the pages.
That is very funny. So which bed would you have chosen? I know Michael's trying to play the I don't want you guys, you're setting me up to choose the gag bed, right?
Zero chance I would have went on the one where the raccoon suffered and there was a blood pile in there. No way. But he apparently thinks the other one was set up. But nope.
No, I totally agree with you. You go with whatever's going on in that other bed.
I'd rather be set up and then somehow be forced to either fix that bed that did not have raccoon blood, or then ultimately have to switch to the raccoon bed.
Exactly. Either way, Michael's roasted, toasted, and burnt to a crisp.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That is a 90s-ism. Would you call it a 90s-ism?
Oh, definitely.
Roasted, toasted, burnt to a crisp.
With the knucks. Every time he does anything cool, knucks.
But it's 90s knucks. It's the up and down knucks, not the parallel knucks, right? It's the 90s knucks. We get to go over to the girls' cabin next with Dina, Zizi, and Telly. And it's time for some activities, right? And it's baseball. And Dina is avoiding anything that has to do with anything being outside.
Yeah.
Right? She's just
why are you at camp?
Right. And why is she famous? I didn't look into it. I wondered if you maybe remembered why her dad is famous. Like, is he a record producer? That's what I assumed. He's like a record producer.
Gotta be something like that.
Record producer. Zizi and Telly, they're ready to go. And camp is about experiencing the outdoors and having fun and not sitting around on your bunk. I mean, that's what they have to say to Dina about that. Plus a little bit of glasses foreshadowing.
Yep,
she needs him to see. Oh, no, they're so ugly, but she needs him to see. Needs him to see. It's kind of outdated. Like, it doesn't really happen in media anymore where, people get made fun of for wearing glasses, right?
Definitely not.
Because, everybody wears glasses. Yeah. Everybody wears glasses.
I don't think it's even considered nerdy at this point.
No, it probably isn't. It's just what everybody does because everybody can't see.
Nope. And I hate contacts. They're a pain in the butt.
They really are. Have you ever thought about LASIK?
If I had the money, maybe. I don't, glasses really don't annoy me to ever put on, but I mean, if it would actually make my vision awesome, I'd probably do it if I didn't have to pay for it.
Exactly, and I'll talk to you about this off podcast.
One of my best friends just did it, actually, 2 months ago, and
he's glad he did it. And he just, like, looked up this random coupon and got, like, $1,000 off.
Dang.
And he found that the day before he did it, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I've never really entertained the idea of doing it. It's just like, I don't think I really want to do that.
Yeah, little sketch.
Little sketch, even though it's been around for a long time. Keep knives and lasers away from my eyeballs, please.
Yeah, for sure.
All the kids are on the baseball diamond now, and Ugg is a buffoon and really doesn't care about his job, right?
Right.
And supposedly the only counselor on the grounds.
Yeah.
The only one.
There's no way.
He's the only one.
There's no way.
He's the only one.
There's no way any other adult has met Ugg and then, you're good enough to do this yourself.
Yeah, you got these like 45 kids. You got it, right?
You got it, right? You got it, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, man.
We find out from Ugg that he's actually named Kevin Lee and that he will be their counselor this year. And then they start the chant. And it's one thing that I always think about with this show is the chant for ugly,
Yeah.
ugly, 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 ugly. There's so many things about this show, and that is one of them that I really enjoyed. And it like genuinely enjoyed. It's such an interesting, the show was an interesting experience for me, which we will get into a little bit later.
Yeah.
Ugg shares his coaching philosophies. Sports are to the mind like fish are to water. Thanks, Ugg. That's kind of a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Keep the body sharp and you'll never miss the point. Are there any questions?
Yeah. I have a lot of questions.
You want to tell us the exciting story of how you flunked out of gym teacher's school? Or college, I guess. That is funny. Like, gym teachers college? Like,
Yeah.
What? It's an interesting line. It's probably trying to write it as if a burn some 12-year-old would actually give, right?
Right. Like,
I was like, gym teachers college.
you
That's
couldn't cut it as a gym teacher, so here you are, 45 delinquents.
Budnick had those flip-up shades. You
Oh.
wanted a pair, right?
Obviously.
Obviously.
I mean, obviously.
Everybody wanted a pair of those. They were the coolest thing circa 1991.
Yeah.
You couldn't get any cooler than that.
You got the gif of Chris Farley flipping them up.
I love, too, that there's no lenses in them. I love that you could buy those like that with the flip-up with no lens in
Yeah.
them. I love that. I love that. Absolutely love that. I definitely wanted a pair. Always wanted a pair. I'm going to find a pair, and I'm going to buy them.
Pictures to come.
Pictures to come. Ugg makes Bobby do 20 push-ups for his digressions. It's game time now, though, and Michael's up to bat, and he really wants to hit that ball right at Budnick. He wants to get back at Budnick. They're button heads. They're enemies. They
Yeah.
hate each other. It's interesting that it's fast-pitch softball.
Yeah.
I found that weird. Fast-pitch softball. Okay, I'm fine with it. It just...
Doesn't seem like something kids would be playing.
You would think that it would just be baseball, like
Yeah.
overhand throwing baseball.
Right.
But hey, whatever. Telly's a pretty good pitcher. She
Yeah.
must have played softball.
Definitely.
She was really firing him in there. At one point, Michael did have 2 strikes, though, and so he had a quick conference with Sponge. And Sponge has charted all of Telly's pitches, and the next one's going to be low and outside. Choke up. Choke up. Choke up. And the pitch is up and in, and Michael didn't choke up. Good.
Way to go, Michael.
He hits that pop fly, though, and some really good kid comedy stuff that you expect in this type of show. I got it.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
run into each other, and chaos ensues, and ZZ not getting the ball at first base when she misses the throw, and Telly yells, "Get the ball!" And she says, "Not if you're going to yell at me." Just some really good kid comedy, which I got a good kick out of. I thought it was funny. I liked it.
Oh, yeah.
Michael gets into a rundown in third base, and it results in a fight, a wrestling match type of a fight, and Ugg certainly takes his time getting over to break it up, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He really does. So punishment for Michael and Bobby ends up being the water bucket punishment. Were you ever did you ever have to experience any type of punishment like that in
Luckily,
that vein?
no.
Never.
Luckily, no.
Never. I can't think of anything really bad. Like, I remember having to do like harder chores for a punishment, like going and sweeping the garage, but never like, you're going to stand there and hold these buckets of water. That would just be torturous.
Yeah.
The 90s were a different time. I'm surprised they
Definitely.
didn't get like paddled or something like that, honestly.
Right.
So Ugg, he says that he's going to keep he says to Budnick that I'm going to keep my eye on you, and I'm going to keep my other eye on you, and I'm going to keep my other Well, let's just say I'll be watching you. Some pretty good lines from Ugg. I like that a lot. The whole gang is at the lodge at this point, and everybody's pretty happy with Michael beating up Bobby, so it tells you what type of guy Bobby Budnick is.
Yep, exactly.
None of the kids love them, but all of the girls love Michael, and they just bombard him with questions. Where are you from? I'm from Springfield. What's your favorite band? I like Bon Jovi. Where do you shop? I shop wherever my mom makes me. What a cool guy, right?
What a
Such
cool
a
guy.
cool guy.
Quick thinker.
Quick thinker. It did look like it was chopped up. I thought it was chopped up where maybe the questions were asked in succession and then he answered them and then they interspliced them together.
Right.
But it was a quick wit on his part. That made him look really smart.
Really smart. Really popular.
Speaking of where do you shop, because it was the 90s and because it was Nickelodeon, Reebok did all of the kids' wardrobe.
Oh, yeah. Heavy Reebok.
Heavy Reebok. I mean, what else could it have been? 90s on Nickelodeon.
Exactly.
Besides, it could have been, I guess, BK shoes. Did you remember the British Knights that they used to peddle on Nickelodeon?
No, but I remember British Knights from Pineapple Express.
Oh, yes.
You got a pair of British Knights on. I ain't seen anybody wear a pair of those since 1980. And then he shoots him.
Yeah, Nick peddled a lot of BK shoes, too. So, obviously, I know the answer because I was going to ask you BK or Reebok. Reebok all the way.
Reebok all the way.
Obviously, you never owned a pair of BKs. I never did either.
No.
Third choice, though, LA Gear.
LA Gear, never heard of it.
No, really?
No.
I had some LA Gears, I'm pretty sure. That was another one that was on Nickelodeon quite a bit.
I had some off-brands. I mean, one year I had Jordashes. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
That's not really an off-brand. It's kind of unique that they had shoes. Weren't Jordache jeans?
I don't know.
I thought
I only ever had the Jordashes shoe one time.
Interesting.
Like cheap shoe I got. I remember being like traumatized.
Traumatized
why
by
am
having
why do I have
shoes?
Jordashes and everyone else has Nikes?
I remember getting like Voits and some like Spalding shoes.
Spalding.
Spalding shoes. But then in high school, I finally was able to get some like Nikes. So
Right.
thank goodness for high school.
I had all the skater shoes in high school.
I had a pair of Airwalks at one point.
Yeah.
Airwalks are pretty hot.
Airwalks.
Yeah. I never had any Vans.
I never had Vans, but I had like Etnies.
Oh, nice.
Americas.
DC?
DC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever have soaps?
Nope, never had soaps.
The grinding shoes?
No.
Osiris.
I had those.
Oh,
But yeah, I never had the
nice.
soaps, never had the Heelys.
No, I never had Heelys either. I was just a little bit. Heelys were big when I was in like 10th grade, so there was some girls that had the Heelys, but I
Yeah.
think if I was rocking Heelys down the hallway, it would not have been a good look for
Probably
me.
not. Yeah.
16-year-old Drew.
I always
at the
wanted a
time.
pair for Valley Fair specifically, just so I could just cruise past people.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've never even worn a pair of Heelys.
Same.
Yeah, never ever.
The 90s.
The 90s. The girls, they're still over Michael at this point, trying to impress him. Dina had dinner with Janet Jackson with Norwegian salmon all the way from Norwich. That's legitimately funny. And
that was funny.
Zizi's a vegetarian. She can't stand to eat anything with a face. Again, legitimately funny. That's such a funny thing for a kid to say.
Yeah.
Michael is mostly interested in what Telly has to say, though. Talking to her about the game. Nice pitch. Hey, we got the same shoes.
Cool.
Yeah. So are they setting up a pseudo romance for these kids?
Seems like it.
It seems like it, or does it show that he's more interested in a girl that's interested in sports, not necessarily like a girl interested in boys?
True.
A little bit of both?
I think a little bit of both.
A little bit of
but
both.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of that.
He seems to care. He could care less about girly girls.
Yes.
So it kind of seems like he's more into her because of the sports.
Yes. A little bit of a tween romance, but mostly sports. I agree with you. At one point, Donkey Lip butts in, but his breath smells like a wet diaper, so that's never good. Get out of here, Donkey Lips.
That isn't good.
And then Donkey Lips goes over to do some crafts with Budnick, and Budnick reveals that Donkey Lips ate all of the macaroni, spray-painted macaroni.
Yeah. I thought it was cheese. And then he eats the last one.
He eats the last
Come
one.
on, man.
That spray paint cannot be good for your GI tract.
No, definitely not.
We find out that Budnick hates the new guy. He's athletic and popular.
Yeah, he's everything we're not.
How are we going to take him down? Secret
It's
society. What are you like? what a good storyline, honestly. Like, what a unique, interesting storyline. There's a lot really going on in this episode.
They do set up a lot of stuff right away.
They expect like you to be actively watching the show. To understand what's going on. Otherwise, you're going to be like, what is going on with this show?
Right.
Expect you to be it. So later that day, exactly at 3:02 p.m., Sponge is recording Michael taking a walk, and Sponge reveals that he likes to use his camera to keep a record of camp. And then we get an uh-oh, and we pan over to Donkey Lips, and he's looking like he's going to murder Michael and Sponge. Like, he looked like a straight-up serial killer, the look he was giving him. So Michael and Sponge do end up getting tackled, and they get pressured into passing a secret society test of courage. So tonight after Taps, bedtime, you know that song that they play for bedtime, it's called Taps. You're going to steal a few things from the girls' bunk, including footage from Sponge's camcorder. Well, what if Ugg catches us?
You'll be kicked out of camp.
What if the girls catch us?
They'll beat you up.
And what if we refuse to go at all?
Donkey Lips sits on your head and farts.
We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it.
And he like smiles and winks at them too. Like, I'll do it.
He does. Like, he wants to do it. It's very Cartman-esque, if you ask me. So now in the girls' bunk, they found out through the grapevine that the boys are going to raid them. I suppose maybe it's like a tradition that they expect it to happen on the first night of camp.
Probably.
So they set up a whole bunch of traps. Definitely the Home Alone effect in this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because this came out after Home Alone did. So Home Alone effect, gotta be. Definitely gotta be the Home Alone effect.
So now that you say that with the must be a tradition, are we assuming that this is Michael's first year, but everyone else has been here maybe 1 year before? Or is this everybody's first year? Because it seems like at least Bobby and Donkey Lips have been there once before.
For how familiar all of the other people are besides Michael with each other, it feels like this has been a couple of years of them going to the same camp. Yeah. That's what it kind of feels like to me.
That's what I thought too, yeah.
Especially since they call him like a new guy basically in the beginning. So I think if not, I also wondered, it seems like he's showing up in the middle of camp too, doesn't it? Like he's showing up in the middle.
Like why is everyone else there?
Right.
He's the only one getting dropped off.
Yeah, nobody else is unpacking anything. All their stuff is already there.
Yeah, and they're all wearing their shirts and everything, so it seems like they've been there. But yeah, like he got in trouble. And he's here 1 week into camp.
Maybe. That's kind of weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either how you would even explain that. I never went to camp.
Exactly.
Never went to camp.
Let us know.
Let us know why that is, if you know, because that'd be great. So the girls are ready for the boys, even with a Polaroid camera, and that's vital for a trap of an 80s, 90s TV or movie show. Always got to have that Polaroid.
Always.
Dina is boy crazy, though, and she's putting on more makeup, and she says, "You trap boys your way, I'll trap boys my way." Thanks, Dina. It's kind of weird that they present her in that kind of a light. It's kind of awkward to me, if you ask me.
It is.
Awkward. Michael and Sponge are out at 2 a.m. and they get into the girls' bunk, and Ugg is out there too. He's on the lookout for shenanigans. So it also like speaks to maybe this is a first day of camp tradition.
Yeah.
So
right, because Ugg's expecting something.
He's expecting something, so it speaks to that. So in the girls' bunk with Ugg close behind the Sponge and Michael are now. He's actually like right outside the bunk, so he should probably have maybe seen them go in there, hear them talking loudly and poking ZZ. Like that's kind of weird how loudly they were talking. I guess you got to get the audio for the show, but they shouldn't have been saying anything at all.
Right,
probably.
Right.
Definitely not poking ZZ in the face.
Definitely
not poking her. So they get Dina's makeup case. That's called a caboodle.
A caboodle.
And so, like, everything that goes around comes around. My daughter got a caboodle for Christmas this year. So Sponge is going to grab Telly's glove, but oops, it's the picture trap. And quick hide, get that picture. We get all that fun stuff. And Ugg gets tipped off by the camera flash and enters that cabin. And he ends up falling victim to all the traps.
Yeah.
Michael steals Telly's glasses in the confusion. It's a pretty good bit for a TV show. Like
once again, very Home Alone.
Yeah.
He just stands and takes it.
Yes, he does just stand there and
just
take
like,
it.
Harry or whatever just takes it to the flame in the head.
It is interesting, though. I mean, they really padded that scene out by showing the same traps fire one after another over and over and over again, That does kind of speak to the budget of the show. So
Definitely.
I guess it only operated on a $180,000 an episode budget, which is considered, I guess, very little money for a 5-day shoot. One guy was quoted as saying, that's what would have been spent on craft services for Roseanne at the time. So I would say it's a considerably small amount. So way to make a show that was definitely watchable even at this time for such a low budget.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish I would have looked to see what the average budget for like a sitcom style TV show is now. I would wonder what that is. Do you think it's millions of dollars an episode?
Oh, probably.
Probably. I wouldn't even know. Wouldn't even be able to venture a guess. Really.
I would have to guess at least $500,000 an episode.
At least. Not including salaries, just to get the show rolling, basically. That's interesting. Michael and Sponge escape, and I feel like I missed. Did they just go out the window that was right by Telly's bed? I feel like I missed
tell
it.
Either. Now that you say that, I was trying to pay attention if they run out the door right behind him.
Right.
But I don't know. He's getting so massacred with all this stuff that I think that's what they do. But maybe it is the window that they go out. I don't feel like they show it.
They must
We're
not
supposed
show
to
it.
just assume they got out.
Because they get out before Ugg is done with all the traps, because they get back to their bunk before Ugg can get there.
Right.
Which is another funny scene. And it's funny how he offers them a milkshake and a pizza every night for the rest of summer to the person who tells me who did this.
Yeah.
And then Budnick's like pseudo swear in this episode. And rat out our friends. Sorry, Big Bird, go pluck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, Jeepers Creeper.
Yeah, he definitely knows how to get the point across.
He does, and I found it funny when Ugg was muttering, pepperoni, mushrooms, peppers. People like peppers.
Thin crust?
Thin crust? Thin crust?
That was great.
Well, now it's time for the boys to check out the spoils of their adventure, and ZZ's diary is pretty funny. There's a cute kid at camp. Who would that be?
He's athletic and popular. Everything Budnick isn't.
It's very funny because it's exactly what Budnick said earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
It's very funny. And then Budnick says, who cares what that wolf says? What an insult, a wolf. Man, that's really hitting hard at ZZ there. ZZ Ziff. What a unique name. Like that seems like a name that you would see in a book. It makes me think of this show as a book, which I mean it was. So I mean seems like a very literary name because it's like pleasing to see on the page. ZZ Ziff. ZZ Ziff. So they ask, what did you get from Tally? He says that he tried to get her mitt, but everything went off, so I got her glasses. Whoa. That's nasty, even for me. That's like Bart Simpson. And, they're trying to do their best to make him look like Bart Simpson with that haircut and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very Bart Simpson thing to say. Very Bart Simpson thing to say. And then Michael says, I got him right here. I don't got him. I must have dropped them in the woods. Of course, the plot thickens. Dun, 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 dun. Luckily for Michael, though, for a price, Budnick is going to help them out find the glasses. And it turns out to be Michael's B.A. boombox.
Oh, baby.
Did you have boom boxes?
Oh,
boom
of
box?
course. Yeah, I definitely had a boombox similar to that one, and then eventually upgraded to like the 5-speaker stereo.
Yeah. Did you have one of those like stereo things in your room like every kid in the 90s and 2000s
with
had?
the big old center thing that was a 3-disc or 5-disc changer, and then I had the 2 speakers and a subwoofer.
Nice. I didn't have the subwoofer. I had the 2 speakers. What brand was yours?
I want to say Sony.
Sony, nice.
I bought it off a friend. I did not
nice.
get it new, but it was awesome.
Mine was Iowa, so it was kind of, it was kind of mid-grade, but I bought it. I remember buying it myself, so that was one of those things I had saved up for, and it was giant and silver and looked like 1999.
Yep, mine was silver as well.
Giant and silver. 3-disc changer for sure. 3-disc and dual tape deck. I wish I had that thing so I could still, use the tape deck, but nobody thought tapes would ever come back. And guess what? They've kind of come back. So Michael and crew, they've moved to the woods now at this point to go find the glasses, and Michael does find the glasses by stepping on them.
Yep.
What are we going to do now? And Sponge says he's going to throw up.
Whoa, power puke.
So this is one of those lines that I like distinctly remember from Salute Your Shorts, and it was one that we used in my friend group. It was like
Power puke.
Yeah, the power puke.
Power puke.
And it was almost one of those ones that was kind of like in the culture, like a saying a power puke and whoa. That's a very the 90s isms in this show are thick and hearty. I love them.
And that's funny because it's 91. So it's hardcore and it's right away.
It's right away. Yeah. Those. I mean, there was that transition period from like 87 to like 94 before you start getting into the later 90s, where it was still had that tinge of a smoky flavor of 1980 still, but surfer culture was still pretty big at the time. It was way bigger in the 80s, but it was still pretty big, and all that stuff was still holding on.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, dude. Tubular, dude. But of course, Michael thinks that he's going to get mulched. But Budnick is there to help Mikey out. He's going to blame somebody else. Man, that Bobby Budnick, what a great guy.
What a great guy.
The next day, the funniest bit from Dr. Khan, we haven't talked about him very much, but his constant voiceover is usually pretty good for a laugh, but I like this one the most, and it seems pretty topical. There's no need to run to breakfast. I already took all the prizes out of the cereal boxes. So I thought that was pretty good. I got a good laugh out of that. At breakfast, though, the girls do confront the boys about the stolen items, and the boys say, we wouldn't lie to you. Why would we lie to you? We're not lying to you, but we're really lying to you.
Yeah.
And then smooth operator Bobby Budnick. Girls, relax. Since I know about everything that happens at this camp, I know who took your stuff. It was him!
Yeah, some random poor kid camper. Oh, my God.
Some random camper. They never even say his name.
No.
Just say his name.
Yeah, just say his name. He is there to laugh at Budnick here at the end of the episode.
Yes,
though.
and he was also the catcher at the baseball game.
Oh, okay.
So at least he's been a little bit in the show. And I do remember him because he's kind of a unique-looking kid.
Yeah.
I think I remember him being in more episodes and being like a featured player on the cast.
Yeah.
So it's time for an awful waffle. This is another instance of something that was like in my friend group saying awful waffle, using that reference and stuff. That was a lot of this stuff really stuck with me throughout my childhood, and it was in a lot of my daily life. It just is interesting that I haven't thought about these things in a really long time, and I watched this show, and I watched a couple more episodes too, because I just was like, man, I'm just digging on this show.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just like, man, it's such a pungent punch of just nostalgia for me. This show is
it's great,
hitting me in the right spots, that's for sure. Mike, he's going to be a good guy, though. After Sponge whispers to him what an awful waffle's going to be, which is it just pouring syrup on your stomach?
I think so.
It's not that bad.
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
No.
But he can't, Mikey, he's such a good guy. He cannot let it happen. Yo, Budnick, wait up. It was me. I did it all. It was just supposed to be a joke. It got out of hand. I'm really sorry. His acting was not good in that scene.
Not good. What a chump. He could have gotten away with it.
Well, at least we have one new member of the secret society. Well, if we're going to have a secret society, don't we need some T-shirts? Ketchup T-shirt, which that S and S for secret society looked suspiciously like Nazi SS.
It did.
I was like, ooh, that was kind of weird.
I was kind of surprised, like, we don't have the budget to go through one more shirt with ketchup here, because that was pretty rough S's. But then he just kind of scribbles all over it.
He did. So maybe somebody off camera was like, you got to scribble that out. You got to scribble that out.
Cover that bastard.
Because you would think the director would been like, whoa, 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 whoa. We got to take this again. But of course, with Bobby and Donkey Lips pretty angry at Sponge at this point, they say in unison, well, not one after the other, you're going to be roasted.
Toasted.
And Bert to a Chris. I know. But first, you got to catch me. You know, that actor, I was going to maybe save this for another time, but that actor, Tim, I can't remember his last name. He was in the episode earlier. Tim, he had a really poor experience on the show.
Really?
Some of those articles that are in the show notes, he talks about it a little bit in there. He was interviewed in one of them. And he had a really poor experience with it, which I feel like when I see him on there now, I'm like, man, that stinks, dude. This was not a fun thing for you.
Right.
So go read about it if you want to be depressed.
That was Sponge we're talking about?
Yeah, Sponge. Yeah. Sponge. Tim, I'm gonna Tim Esther.
Tim Esther.
Which he changed his name to Trevor, so it's actually not Tim anymore.
Trevor Esther.
Trevor Esther. So now we're back in the boys' bunk, and Michael's feeling pretty bad for himself. Come on, we got lodge hockey. I want to play lodge hockey. That'd be fun. Are they playing hockey like in the lodge? That's what it makes it seem like.
Right.
Lodge hockey, I'm down. Let's go play lodge hockey. Nah, I'm going to just hang around here. Whatever. Sponge out. Michael notices a boombox under his pillow, and out comes Telly from a hiding space in the cabin. She won it off of Budnick playing tetherball. How'd you get in here? You're not the only one that can sneak around in someone else's bunk. Hey, what happened to your face?
It's different. That's a weird way of saying you look pretty without saying you look pretty.
That got a legit laugh out of me when I watched it. We were watching it as a family, actually, and it was the first time that I had watched it, and it got a legit laugh, and I was like, "What happened to your face?
What happened to your face? It's different."
She got contacts. Insurance paid for it. Lucky duck. Way to go. Way to get that taken care of. Thanks for the boombox. I thought you hated me. If you hadn't told the truth, I would have really hated you. So I only hate you a little. Oh, what a nice little resolve to their story.
Yep.
You want to shoot some hoops? And off Michael and Telly go to shoot some hoops. Out of the cabin hiding spaces, Zizi and Dina emerge to get the boys back, and they TP their bunks. Retribution. Way to go, girls.
Retribution.
Roll credits.
Roll credits.
So I kind of already shared some of my opinions, but I can talk probably more about this show still. But I want to know. Tell me about what your thoughts on this show were.
It's great. It's like you said, it's definitely a nostalgic stab in the stomach for sure. And it's heavy 90s. The actors are great for the most part.
Yeah.
In this first episode. I mean, I love Budnick, obviously. Like you said in the last podcast we did, he's one of the more used actors and other things as a child actor. But makes you want to go to camp. Makes you want to play some field hockey.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's funny. I wanted to keep watching like you did, but I did not actually keep watching.
And I did watch more on Paramount Plus, so their second episode isn't actually the second episode, so I'm watching them out of order.
I saw it was like Ghost Stories. I remember that episode.
Yes,
but
it's a good one. Zeke the Plumber. It'd be probably worth going back and doing that one later.
At some point.
It'd probably be worth, because that's another one that I really remember because it was legitimately scary.
Yeah. Unless, again, we get like 100 downloads on Salute Your Shorts, then we'll consider going back to it.
Yes.
Fast.
Yes. If Salute Your Shorts gets 100 downloads, then bam, we're doing another one.
We're going to salute our shorts if that happens.
I've already spoke on how this show really hit me, and made me think of a lot of my childhood, and I really appreciate this show in like a completely new light, and very few things that we've done so far really like hit that nostalgic feel as much as this show did for me. It just made me think of being a kid. It made me think of growing up in the summers in Minnesota. It just made me think of those things, and it was really good homework for me. Yeah. It was like borderline therapeutic to think about things I haven't thought about in 30 years.
And I think that's the difference between watching like the animated show like Ren and Stimpy. That definitely puts us back, but the live action shows with kids, and you see the fashion and everything back then, like the high above knee shorts were a thing then. But when I was a kid, it was not. You wanted to wear past your knees, but now it's back to above the knee shorts again. It's the style. It's just funny that it goes back and forth, and he's got like the open button dress shirt with a plain t-shirt underneath.
Love it.
I remember wearing something like that to my freshman high school dance, trying to look cool. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, I get it. It definitely puts you back seeing the extra stuff you wouldn't see in the animated shows.
Yeah, because it's a really good snapshot of 1991, of the time, of the it fashion stuff, the stuff that you would have seen on TV and commercials, on catalogs, and seen on print advertisements.
Right.
It's just a really, really good show. So I hope that this has a good response, because I would love to go back and do another one of these. Do you have anything else that you'd like to speak on Salute Your Shorts?
Do your homework.
Do your homework. It's well worth your time. Please do your homework.
Do your homework.
Well, let's talk about the homework assignment then.
Let's do it.
We are going to be doing 1995's Species. Thank you, Jacob Bases, once again. Coming up big. Big.
We're going back-to-back movies from Jake.
Absolutely love it. We love it. This movie was released July 7th, 1995, to be specific. The budget was $35 million. It had a box office of $113.3 million. That's $222.4 million in 2023. Thank you, USInflationCalculator.com. It was directed by Roger Donaldson, written by Dennis Feldman, starring Ben Kingsley. We know that name.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Madsen. We know that name.
Oh, yeah.
Alfred Molina. We know that name.
Oh, yeah.
Forrest Whitaker. I know that name.
Sounds familiar.
Marge Helgenberger. Don't know that
Don't
one.
know that one.
Natasha Henstridge. Don't know
Don't
that
know
one.
that one.
I think Natasha's the lead, so I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Natasha's the lead. It is a franchise. It had one theatrical sequel in 1998. That'd be Species 2. The Return of Species. No, it's not that. It's just Species 2.
Just Species.
Two direct-to-television sequels, Species 3 in 2004 and Species The Awakening in 2007.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I thought that I had seen this movie. After watching the trailer, I have never seen this movie.
Nice.
The closest thing I can say to thinking that I had seen this was maybe seeing bits and pieces on TV.
Yeah.
Maybe seeing parts of a sequel, since there's 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
So, but I have never seen this movie. I watched the trailer and I'm like, nope, never seen this thing.
This is amazing. So this will be the first homework assignment we've done that you have not seen it.
This is true homework.
That is super awesome.
Man, true homework.
And it's like most things for me, I think I've seen it, but it's been a very long time. But I'm hoping that it comes back to me after seeing it. I just bought it and it came early, and I was looking at the back cover, and I feel like it looks familiar, but the monster kind of looks like Alien in the back of the picture too.
It does.
So.
Did your DVD have this weird thing on the front of it?
No, it did not. And, and the back of mine looks different.
What a weird, there's like this weird cardboard piece that has, I'm going to open it up right now.
Yours is like gotta be like the anniversary edition or something.
I have
I
no
think
idea.
I saw something on it. I just got it cheap off eBay. But
I bought it off of Amazon, and it was it's straight up on there. Weird.
That is weird.
Oh, this is riveting podcasting. Oh, yeah, this is the cover, so I'm going to pull this thing off and save it because it looks like a 14-year-old drew it. Doesn't it, though? It looks like some high school art, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So the disc came from Mexico, so I think it's maybe a weird Mexico bootleg.
Dun, dun, dun,
sort of like the, what was the other one that I had? Cable Guy was
Cable
another
Guy.
one that was
Yeah.
from Mexico. Hopefully this one doesn't have Spanish as the first language choice. But anyways, very excited to do Species. Can't wait to do some real homework. Hopefully I actually do my homework and do my homework for real, because I was not good at doing homework, but this is fun homework.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to do my homework. Otherwise, we don't have a podcast. Anything you want to talk about on Species?
No, I'm excited to do it. I'm glad Jake keeps throwing us on some 90s stuff, because
Right.
Starship Troopers was effing amazing.
Yeah, and shout out at you, Jake, with screaming Blade Runner at your radio. I think I may have heard you. So
that was awesome to read that he's into it enough that he goes to
Yes,
the end and
yes,
listens
yes,
to that.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
man.
yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Shout out Jake. Shout out Triple Falls.
Shout out Triple Falls. Hit me with that outro, Trav.
Let's do it. Wait. Aren't we doing questions for each other?
Yeah, we'll do that in this outro.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right, so time for the outro. So we are going to do some questions for each other. And the first one I got for Drew, it goes with our last podcast. Since the can of worms is now open, I would like to know, what is a sports jersey that you always wanted growing up that Roberta did not let you get?
Easy answer. It's Brett Hull, St. Louis Blues, Brett Hull. If I was going to choose a specific player, it was just the St. Louis Blues jersey, because that was my jam when we didn't have a team in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Specifically, do you remember the top half red, bottom half blue with the Z stripe through St. Louis Blues?
I think so. Yeah.
That's the one that I always wanted.
Nice.
Because it was like their first. I'm probably wrong on this, but I feel like when they redesigned to that design, it was a big deal because they had the same design for like a really long time. But
Sure.
I really wanted it. It felt very 1992. Looking back on it, it looks very 1992.
Yeah.
But that was the one that I wanted.
Dang you, Roberta.
Come on, Roberta. So, I have mine for you now.
Dun dun. Dun.
So, this one's a little involved, so bear with me here. You're 14. You know what? Before we get to this, I'm going to ask you, what was the jersey you wanted? I want your answer on
Well,
that.
I had a lot of jerseys.
What was one
fair
that
enough.
you didn't have that you wanted? If you can think of it.
I really wanted a retro Kevin Garnett.
Nice.
Because I had the one with like the pine trees that was the standard, but I wanted the old school blue. And then I always wanted a Michael Jordan North Carolina jersey.
North Kakalaki.
Yep.
That would have been pretty cool. So here's mine. It's a little involved. Bear with me. So you're 14. Excuse me while I burp.
Dramatic
Let me
pause.
start that again. You're 14. So you're 14. It's August, and you have the whole day ahead of you. What are you doing?
Oh boy, so I definitely stayed up very late in the summers, especially when I was a kid. Well, 14, you're a kid when you're 14. This would have been the summer before my freshman year, and I would have woke up at about noon. I always shower right away, so shower, and then I would guess I probably biked down to Target to pick up some Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Nice.
For sure. And then stopped at my buddy's house who was across town because we didn't, you call the landline, and if they don't answer, well, I guess I'm biking over to see if he's there.
Yep.
There's no texting back then. Probably go play some hoops at my neighbor's. He had a basketball hoop in his backyard, cemented in behind the garage, so we did that all the time.
That's cool.
And then probably ended the night with about 8 of us getting together for some poker.
Nice.
Around freshman year, we were all super into WSOP, World Series of Poker, and we got a lot of games going. I feel like I won a decent amount of money.
Cool,
that summer,
man.
So.
Cool. That's awesome. So for me, I will tell you what I would do. So I'd probably roll out of bed. 10 a.m. would be about as early as it would be.
Yeah.
Usually later, but I'll say 10 a.m. And hit the shower, grab some cereal, most likely Trix, Fruity Pebbles. Those are usually what we had, what I would ask for my mother to buy. I would call my friend Dan after that. He had a younger brother that he had to babysit, basically, so I would go over to his house quite a bit. So I'd call Dan. I still remember his phone number. His parents still lived there, but if I called it right now, it'd probably ring their landline.
Nice.
It's the easiest number ever to remember. I'm going to say it, but I'm going to bleep it out. I just want you to hear it.
Yeah. Oh
It's
my
the
gosh.
easiest number ever.
Yeah.
Easy. Beep. That's all you're going to hear. Beep. So I would ride my bike over to Dan's house after I called him, and we would probably drink a case of Mountain Dew in the daytime. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
We'd shoot some hoops. We'd play some street hockey in his driveway. Dan also had darts, air hockey, and foosball in his basement.
Ooh, nice.
Full-size air hockey table.
That's awesome.
It was the coolest thing ever. So even if it was raining, still ride my bike over to Dan's.
Yep.
We'd play foosball and air hockey in his basement all day. And then most likely we'd probably play some Nintendo 64. And the game that we played the most was Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey.
Nice.
So it was a midway game. So it had all those cheats and stuff like Big Head and exploding puck and tiny people, all that stuff that you could do. So we played that all the time. It had cool 3D fighting element to it when you would fight people. And it was 3-on-3.
Oh,
so it
okay.
was really arcadey. It was a lot of fun. We played that all the time. After that, or, if Dan wasn't available, I might ride my bike to the theater and see what's playing.
Oh, yeah.
And the theater was always within a bike ride for me, so it was never too far away. And even if it was too hot, I knew the air conditioning was going to be great in the theater.
Yeah.
And it was easy to go to the theater and plop down $1.50 and go see a movie that you didn't really even care about.
Right. Yeah, my theater was only 3 blocks away from me.
That's
growing up,
nice.
so that was sweet.
That's nice. And then always be home by 6 for dinner. That's all I ever had to worry about in the summertime. So that would be my day as a 14-year-old. And man, what an easier time.
What an easier time.
That'd be so great. I want to just randomly ride my bike to the theater someday and see what's playing.
Yeah. My next question for Drew is, I would love to know what was a battle that was much closer as a kid than as an adult, or that as an adult now is no contest. And my examples is Colas were way closer for me when I was a kid. I liked Pepsi. I liked Coke. I liked Dr. Pepper was probably the lowest on my radar.
Interesting.
And now everyone that knows me, it's Dr. Pepper for life. Love those 23 flavors. And then I was thinking the other day as I ate some Cheetos Puffs, these just do not appeal to me like they did when I was a kid. It's crunchy all the way now. When I was a kid, I'm all for the puffs, but now, I mean, they get stuck in your teeth like crazy.
They do.
So
They do.
They're still delicious.
They do.
You got any examples like that?
I do, and don't listen to this, listener. When you let me know about the questions beforehand, I immediately thought of this. This is what I immediately thought of. So when I was a kid, Cheese Nips, Cheez-Its, Better Cheddars, didn't care.
Yep.
Now it is 120% Cheese It all the way.
Cheese It, no contest.
No contest. I don't even know if you can buy Cheese Nips anymore. I don't even know.
Maybe.
I don't even know. But it's definitely Cheez-Its, and a close second is Better Cheddars.
Yeah.
Usually you can get them for a really good deal. Buying Better Cheddars and chicken and a biscuit. Bam.
Oh,
You got snacks for days. Snacks.
Oh.
Lovely, lovely MSG. Gotta love that MSG. And then to speak on the Pops, kid, it was all Pepsi products.
Oh, yeah.
Adult, Coke products. I'm a Coke guy.
That's right. Yeah, you never drink Pepsi.
I
now.
never. Well, I mean, I will drink Pepsi, but it's Coke.
I always see you with Coke, usually. Yeah.
It's Coke. It is Coke.
It is Coke.
So I want to delve into the video game realm a little bit, if you don't mind. What was one popular game from the NES or SNES or both, however you'd like to answer, that you didn't necessarily get or you just didn't like to play?
Yeah.
That was popular. I don't know if I said that. That was a popular
Right.
game.
I can't remember if this was popular then, but the NES TMNT game, not the arcade fighter one,
Mm-hmm.
but the one where you're solo.
Yep.
And that one is just a pain in the ass. It's to the point where it's almost not fun.
Right.
You know, like we did the Batman Roundup. That one was irritating, but fun irritating.
Yes.
Because you could conquer it. But when I get to the swimming level with the electric coral or whatever in TMNT,
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. So that was the hard one I could think of that I didn't take the time to master. It just did not seem worth my time.
No, I would agree with you. That game not being very fun, honestly, because of the difficulty level.
Yeah.
It's just such a grind. Even when you play it now, even when you play it on the PS5, it's such a grind.
Such a grind.
And popular, I would say yes, because it sold a lot of copies because TMNT was unstoppable.
TMNT.
Right? Yeah. Do you have one for Super Nintendo?
I can't think of a single SNES game that ever gave me so much trouble that I gave up on it. I feel like that's my favorite console of all time, so I persisted on every game that was a pain in the ass.
Nice. I mean, that's how I felt definitely about the PlayStation and stuff. That's definitely how I felt about that. For me, for the NES, Ninja Gaiden was a big one that a lot of my friends liked and they loved to play it, but I hated playing that game. I was really bad at it and I just hated playing it.
That was a hard game. I definitely remember that being a pain in the ass.
I don't know if it was necessarily really popular all around everywhere, but within my group of friends it was a popular game and I hated that thing. It popped out and I just checked out. I was like, no, I'm not playing that game.
Nope.
I hate that game. And another one too was Metroid. And I think going back and playing it now, great game, love it, I'll play it all the time. But as a kid, I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, I hated it, and I didn't want to play it. So
And that was on SNES.
yeah, no Nintendo.
Regular Nintendo.
Yeah, the regular
okay.
Nintendo Metroid. So I mean, I just didn't get it. That was one that I didn't like to play. Didn't get it. Have gone back and played on the virtual console on the Switch, and like it. It's fun. It's definitely a harder game.
Right.
It's so open ended and everywhere. It's a Metroidvania type of game. I mean, that's why they're called Metroidvania games.
Yeah.
And then for me, for the Super Nintendo, I did not get RPGs on Super Nintendo.
Sure.
And I would rent them, like Final Fantasy III
Yep.
or especially Secret of Mana, rent them,
Yep.
play them, not get it, be frustrated, hate it, and be like, why do you guys like this game?
Yeah.
So
I definitely had that same feeling by myself, but I had one cousin who was about a year or two older than me, and then a cousin who I consider like a brother. He's like 8 years older than me. So they had already played everything, so it definitely laid the groundwork for me. But there was a few on PlayStation I can think of that I just 4 hours into the game, I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm so lost. How is this supposed to be fun? So I definitely got that feeling.
yeah,
too, but
and that was mostly both of these things are mostly, I think, due to age, because I've gone back and played those Final Fantasy 3 and Secret of Mana, and I've liked them. They're fun. It's just a matter of not getting it and just being like, I'm done with this forever. I'm never playing this.
Yeah.
It was so whenever you rented a game like that sucked or you didn't get, and it was such a waste of time. It's like, I don't even like this game. Can we go return it and get a new one? No. Everything's going back on Monday.
Oh, man.
Do you have another one for me?
I got one more here. So you're 12 years old and your best friend is spending the night to game and whatnot. You get to pick the food, the pop, and the snacks. What are you choosing?
It's an easy choice of pepperoni pizzas from Domino's.
Sure.
Easy choice. You get we would always choose between 2 pizzas, which would be 1 pepperoni, 1 sausage, or 1 pizza and double breadsticks.
Yeah.
And we'd have to choose a lot. It was pretty 50-50 on which way we would go for which one we would choose. But I'm a big fan of breadsticks.
Oh, God. I miss their old breadsticks. Yes, were the best thing ever.
Yes,
and they got rid of those.
Definitely a cube of MD.
Cube of MD.
A cube of MD for 2 people. I mean... Honestly,
definitely
chugging MDs. Just chugging MDs.
Like water.
Yeah, and then you're going to the bathroom, too, like every 30 minutes or even less. I've had too much pop.
Too much pop. Breaking
pop.
the seal with the Mountain Dew.
And snacks, my choices for snacks, a lot of times if it was just like me and Dan, we would just like go together and get some snacks from a gas station or something like that. But if it was a big group of us, it was kind of like get your own snacks, type of thing and bring them. I would always choose like Skittles, like a bag of like Old Dutch popcorn, and then Doritos for sure.
Nice.
That's what I would choose.
It's funny how similar all yours are to mine, because I've said before I lived like a block from Domino's, so Domino's for me as well.
Domino's.
Sausage and pepperoni. And then pop. I liked all kinds of pop when I was a kid, except I wasn't super particular on root beer. But a case of Mountain Dew is the first thing that popped into my head. Like, if Eli was coming to stay over, we're for sure getting Domino's. We're for sure getting a case of Mountain Dew. And I think I've said a while back that we would get, like, the Ruffles, the Works.
Oh, yes.
All the flavors in there. And if it was my other buddy from school, he was a huge nacho cheese Doritos. Nice. And so we always had the Doritos. So, yeah, we had a lot of the same. I mean, Domino's, baby. And Cube of Mountain Dew.
Cube of Mountain Dew.
Anything else is just an added bonus.
Tell me how you're from the Midwest without telling me you're from the Midwest. Cube of Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Bag. Stamps.
Oh, boy. I mean, when was the last time you had a Mountain Dew?
A while. I did get a Code Red in the recent months, and yeah, I'm done with that. Yeah, every once in a while, maybe a Mountain Dew will sound good, or maybe a Code Red. Not so much, yeah.
Mountain Dew is my brother-in-law's choice of pop, and I do not like it.
Yeah, I don't like it anymore. I've had the last couple Code Reds from that 12-pack months ago just sitting in my mini fridge because I just can't get desperate enough to drink it.
Chug them out of spite. Just chug them all in a row.
Oh, man. I do like Livewire, though, but that's not really accessible to us. So.
I like Baja Blast Mountain Dew from Taco Bell.
I don't think I've ever had that.
It's really good.
It's really good.
So I've had Mountain Dew. A straight up green Mountain Dew, I have not had one of those in years.
Yeah.
But Baja Blast, I've had a Baja Blast.
Had my share of Baja Blast. Do you have one last question?
Oh, yes. I have one more question. So this one's just like a either or, all right? If you had to choose to go back to landline phones only, no mobile phones of any kind, or streaming doesn't exist and the only way you watch things you didn't own was to go to the video store or you had to wait for it to be on TV.
Oh, boy.
Which one would you choose?
So, honestly, I could get away with doing both. Like, I miss the times of that was the option. You had to watch it on TV or record it. I mean, I had a bunch of blank tapes recording stuff. Or owning stuff. Obviously, you have a nice big collection. I have a nice big collection. I like physical copies, so you're not dependent on the internet or buffering or anything. And as much as I do love cell phones, I also hate like even being remotely dependent on my cell phone.
I know.
But if I had to pick, I would keep streaming services and get rid of the phones. Even though in one way, I wouldn't love that I couldn't contact Lauren easily. As dumb as that maybe sounds. Just back to hope she shows up when she's supposed to show up, and I feel like I'd worry more than I should if it was just zero contact until we're supposed to be home, and then if she had to run somewhere, I'd get worried for no reason. So both are nice to have now, but I do wish we could go back to the old times sometimes.
Yeah, and it is interesting how much worrying cell phones have created.
Yeah.
Because in my youth, you
never worried.
You would go 10, 12, 15 hours without seeing anybody, talking to anybody from your family, and it was fine.
Yeah, it was normal.
It was normal. That's what you did with your life.
Right.
It is interesting. Personally, I would choose to get rid of streaming.
Sure.
That's what I would choose and go back to...
Either is a good choice, I think.
I think the whole process of going to the video store is something that I really miss.
Oh, yeah. Especially if in this scenario, that means there's a huge resurgence of video stores. I mean, there would have to be, obviously.
There's no streaming. There's Hollywood videos and Blockbusters on every corner.
So then I would maybe have to switch my answer thinking about it, because that would be awesome to actually, it's the weekend, let's go rent a couple movies for the weekend.
Yeah.
And
5 days for $1 or whatever it was at the end there.
Nostalgia.
Do you remember those VHS resale things that would pop up when like video stores would go out of business, where they would show up and it'd be like, buy one VHS for $5, but if you buy 10, they're $1 a piece.
Oh yeah.
I
definitely took advantage of that a couple times.
Well, a bunch of this stuff probably came from, you know.
Yeah.
I miss that stuff.
Same with DVDs, but I think I got rid of all my DVDs when I converted to Blu-rays. Pretty much. Now I have some again. But
I just kept it. I wish I would have kept more VHS tapes, because I know some got thrown away.
Yeah, I wish I never got rid of any of my physical copies of games or movies. But
even though I'm still in search of, if you've been a day one listener, I'm still in search of a VCR. So even though a lot of these VHS tapes probably would look like garbage, honestly. They probably really would, but I would still love to watch them on VHS.
Yeah.
But please, let's hit those emails, Trav.
We got a couple emails today. We got Hasbro is the best bro wants to know, what was your favorite board game growing up?
Unpopular opinion, it was Monopoly.
Ooh.
I played it a lot with my family and with some friends too. We played Monopoly all the time, and if it was a Monopoly, usually, and I learned how to play it. I don't know if I'd be able to play it anymore, but playing Pinochle with my family interestingly enough. Cards were fun, but Monopoly, I think, is the one. Monopoly and Sorry. Clue is one that I played with my sister all the time.
Yep.
My sister and I would play Slapjack and War all the time too, which was a lot of fun. But that's what I like. Monopoly is what I think of when I think of playing playing board games.
I put the same thing, Monopoly, and then I put Sorry. I remember playing that at my grandparents, but it was definitely a lot of card games.
Yeah, card games.
One side of my family was like Rummy and King's Corner, and then the other one would be Cribbage and Rook, and I also remember playing War and Slapjack and all that stuff. So, simple times. Perfection. Did you ever play Perfection? Oh yeah,
love
Perfection.
That game. Love that
Connect
game.
4.
Connect 4 for sure.
Mousetrap just to set up the contraption and then run the contraption, not actually play the game.
Right. I didn't come up with this line, but nobody ever plays the game the way you're supposed to play Mousetrap. You just set it up and trip the trap, and then you're done.
And if you did, you're lying. So
nobody plays it that way.
Nobody plays
playing it the way where you have to move along the board and build the trap as you go. Nobody plays it that way.
Nobody plays it that way.
Nobody.
Last email today comes from Feels Like Forever wants to know, how in the world have you guys done 25 episodes and you still have not covered Jurassic Park? Well, spoiler alert. We first discussed doing this last year at the end of 2022. Then we wound up pushing it to January. And then we started getting more suggestions, which we're super happy for.
Exactly.
So that's why it's been getting pushed back. It got pushed to April. And now we are officially, I can say, ahead of time, spoiler alert, it will drop in June. We are going to do a Jurassic Park episode in June.
It is unbumpable.
It is unbumpable.
It's been bumped.
If you suggest close to that time, expect it to be in July.
Because, you're not getting Jurassic Park.
You're not getting Jurassic Parks.
Because that's unbumpable.
It's unbumpable. It's a great movie, and we're super stoked to do it. And we don't know how the hell we haven't done it yet either, so... thank you guys so much for listening. As always, please email us at overduehomeworkpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Overdue Homework Podcast. And as always, don't forget to tune in to the next exciting episode of the Overdue Homework Podcast.